today let's put Ariel from the Little Mermaid into the spotlight. Ariel is the well-known mermaid who exchanges her voice for some legs so that she can go on land. Though this movie came out in 1989, Disney Studios first started working on it much sooner. In fact, Walt Disney himself first wanted to adapt Hans Christian Andersen's story in the late 1930s, early 1940s. In his movie version, Disney wanted to stay as faithful to the fairy tale as possible, including the tragic end where the mermaid dies and becomes sea foam. Disney had already started writing a script and storyboarding for this movie, through which we know that he was picturing a mermaid with long black hair and a blue-green tail. However, this movie was shelved to allow more work to go into other movies like Dumbo, Bambi, and Fantasia. It is only in the 80s that the idea of adapting the story of the Little Mermaid resurfaced. That was a terrible pun and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
However, directors Ron Clements and John Musker wanted their movie to have a much happier ending. In fact, they removed a lot of the more negative and sad aspects of the original fairy tale. In the original story, we learn that when mermaids die, they become sea foam, whereas when humans die, their souls go to heaven and have an eternal afterlife. The main character, the mermaid, who is never named, is envious of this and hopes to one day get a soul. As one of the many artifacts that she has a statue of a human.
It looks just like him. It even has his eyes.
One day, she sees a human who looks strikingly like this statue fall into the water and she decides to save him. She goes to a sea witch and exchanges her tongue for a potion that will give her legs. The witch explains that to get a soul, she'll need to have the prince fall in love with her and marry her. If he were to fall in love with someone else and marry them instead, the mermaid will die the morning after their wedding.
Now listen, this is important. Before the sun sets on the third day, you've got to get dear old Princey to fall in love with you.
Unfortunately, the mermaid fails in making the prince fall in love with her, and he marries a different girl who he believes is the girl who saved him.
It appears that I was mistaken. This mystery maiden of yours does, in fact, exist.
The mermaid's 5 sisters hear of this and go to the sea witch and exchange their hair for a magic knife. They give the knife to their sister and explains that if she kills the prince and let his blood go onto her feet, she will get her tail back and she can go back to being a mermaid. The mermaid refuses, and the morning after, she dies and becomes sea foam. As you can see, many aspects of the original fairy tale made it into the movie, though a lot of them were altered to be a happier and more fun story. Ariel sells her voice, she fawns over the statue of Prince Eric that she finds, though she finds it after having saved him and not before, and Eric believes that Vanessa is the person who saved him. Ariel's design was in part based on animator Glenn Keane's wife, and in part on Sherry Stoner, a model who was the live-action reference for Ariel. Ariel exists in many different environments. She's underwater, she's on land, she's in the day, she's at nighttime, she's near a fire, so they needed different hues of the same colours to represent all of this. They ended up using 32 different colour models, and that doesn't include the colours of all the clothes she wears as a human.
Isn't she a vision?
The colour of her fin was especially made by the Disney Paint Lab for this character. The animators wanted to have the right shade of sea green, and this colour ended up being called Ariel as a wink to the character it was made for. Did you ever wish you were a mermaid? Please tell me in the comment section down below. If you want to see any of my other videos, you can click here to find out how deep Atlantica is, or you can click here and find out just how contractual magic works. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and I hope you consider subscribing. Until next time, happy bubbles!